Mic check. What's going on? Welcome back to another Hip Hop Snapshot. I'm your host, Ross Martinez. And in this episode, we're going to further examine the complex history that media has with hip hop, specifically MTV. And some would claim MTV killed hip hop. I don't think that, but I definitely think it changed the DNA. But before we get into this one, let me say this out loud for those that are unaware of this. I'm a Mexican kid from the South Side of Chicago who fell in hip hop after seeing it on MTV and hearing it on radio stations. But that was one form of hip hop. And once I started surrounding myself with other individuals who were of the community and culture, and discovering people like a KRS-One who would teach about the culture, I gained a bigger appreciation and respect for it. So this episode is going to be intriguing because it offers the duality of who I am as an individual. Somebody that came across hip-hop media that was curated, but then as I dug in crates and talked to individuals from the community, I got a different perspective of it. Hence why Hip Hop Snapshots is a podcast. It's who I am. I'm a storyteller. I'm a crate digger, and at the core of it, I'm a community-centric individual. So this isn't me preaching today. This is just me pulling up a crate and saying, look what I found. Let's talk about it, because this history is important, the good and the bad. So without further ado, grab a milk crate, take a seat. It's time to talk hip-hop history. When MTV launched in 1981, hip-hop had already been in the communities, in park jams, block parties, college radio stations, dub tapes passed hand to hand. But if you were to turn on MTV, you wouldn't even know it existed. The network was built for rock and roll, and hip-hop didn't fit their picture of what music was supposed to look like to the masses. And it wasn't accidental, as some would say. It was cultural gatekeeping. Hip-hop wasn't asking for permission back then, but it also was not being invited in. Then in 1988, something happened. They created a show called Yo MTV Raps. For the first time, hip-hop was no longer a rumor that you heard about. It was visible on TV. Not just the music, but also the clothes, the slang, the dance, the posture, the attitude, the community. Fab Five Freddy wasn't just a host, he was a translator, a bridge, just like you had Ed Lover and Dr. Dre. Not that one, the other one. Suddenly, regional artists became national names. That's like me, kids from Chicago, LA, Germany, Japan. We discovered who Nas was, A Tribe Called Quest, De La Soul, the Jungle Brothers, Brand Nubian. You had so many acts that weren't getting real airtime would be discovered on Yo MTV Raps, and that's beautiful. MTV didn't create hip-hop by any means, but Yo MTV Raps gave it its first real national megaphone, and that impact was definitely undeniable. Sales started exploding, fashion trends started being created, and hip-hop became a global entity. That right there was liberation, but more specifically, it was a validation. But here's where it gets complicated, to say the least. Because once something goes mainstream, someone decides what version of it gets shown. Videos are important, images matter, and what reads fast on the screen, it gets rewarded. Oversized change, street aesthetics, hyper-masculinity, not because that's what hip-hop is, but because that's what translates to the populace. Depth didn't disappear, but nuance doesn't always survive commercials. MTV didn't invent stereotypes, but it amplified the ones that work best visually. Hip-hop shifted from expression to presentation. Now, think about that. A subtle but very important DNA change happened. Hip-hop came together, what? Because it was a safe space for us as Black and Latino, Black and brown, to come together and just express ourselves. But once it hit mainstream, It became about how you presented that image. Was it safe for commercial buyers and consumers? And we'll address that later on. But by the 90s, hip hop wasn't knocking anymore. It ran MTV. It became part of the core DNA of what MTV did because it was cool. TRL, remember them days? Primetime slots, global stardom. Rappers became brands, singles became currency, and quote unquote, keeping it real became a marketing slogan. This wasn't betrayal, it was just evolution under pressure. Hip hop by no means sold out. The system just decided to buy in. When you got the money to do it, you can start to rewrite the rules in real time. Then MTV stopped playing music and reality TV took over. The culture outgrew the channel and the internet blew the doors clean off. Mixtapes went digital, YouTube replaced rotation, and SoundCloud raised an entire generation like myself. MTV faded into nostalgia and hip hop did what it always does. It adapted and it grew. So no, MTV didn't kill hip hop by any means. It definitely changed the DNA though. It helped hip hop travel the world. It taught the culture how to navigate visibility, capitalism, and power. And it also reminded us of something very important. Not every platform loves the culture of hip hop. Some just love what they can extract from it. And that right there is tension, that push, pull. But it's nothing new because that essentially is hip hop. Mic check, mic check. That's another episode of Hip Hop Snapshots. I'm your host, Ross Martinez. Until next time, listen a little bit deeper. Question how things are framed and presented and marketed to you. Respect the people who built this thing because hip hop was never just music. It's community. And community deserves context. And make sure you always dig through the crates yourself. Because that thing you about to find might change your entire world. And, of course, as always, be hip hop. I'm out. Peace.